Okay. This is more of an apology. I apologize for that long ranting video where I was trying to get my audio going. Boomer stuff, basically. I'm sorry. I could cope about it all day. But basically, if you didn't watch that whole embarrassing video I put out yesterday, it was basically just I'm disgusted with the attitude that a lot of these folks who support the Ukrainian government, be very careful, the Ukrainian government, the ones who completely 100% support them. And now, of course, they're saying, we don't hate the Russian people, but gosh darn it, those Russians need to go over there and they need to overthrow Putin. They need to sacrifice themselves for a greater good. And this is a disgusting attitude. How you doing, Temujin? How are you doing, Jake English? I hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more high energy with this one, but I find it disgusting when you see these folks, these ghouls. How are you doing, No More Libs? I find it disgusting with these ghouls who tell the Russian people they need to overthrow their government. They need to overthrow Putin and the oligarchs. They need to do that so they can free themselves. It's disgusting rhetoric. It's nothing new, but it's disgusting rhetoric because basically it's just you need to sacrifice yourself so that we don't have any more bad naughty people like Putin. Um feel as you want to about the whole regime, this and that, but I think it's disgusting. It's nothing new for the American, these Americans out there who are just like, yeah, you know, regime change, bro, regime change. Yeah, go and throw yourself in jail. Absolutely. But I find it disgusting, and of course, it's no different than egging somebody on. It's no different than being an instigator and being that jackass friend who's like, "Yeah, bro, you need to go up and yeah, that teacher that gave you an F, in history or something like that, and the fact that you got to take summer school now, nah, you haven't missed that much. Nah, you haven't missed it. Yeah, that's basically what they're telling the Ukrainians. Absolutely, yeah, to die for America. Absolutely. But basically, my analogy was this: is that it's like that friend that instigates that gaslights you and says you need to throw you need to set your teacher's car on fire or something. I was going to say like TP or whatever, like I say, you need to TP her house, bro, or something like that. You need to do that and get back at her. And it's just like they're just doing that to fuck with you. But yeah, who says the person that hypothetically replaces Putin would be friendlier than yeah, Putin would be friendlier to the West? Yeah, I think it would be the opposite. Oh, absolutely, that's true. I find that rhetoric disgusting. This sort of thing of just this is why I will say this, and it's something that people have said over and over in their commentary, but I will repeat it to a point that I'm going to stop short of what a lot of folks say. It's fucked up what's occurring to the Ukrainian people. Absolutely. I don't think anyone would be dumb enough to do that. Yeah. Zuganov might replace him and he's more anti West. Yeah. But to say that I support Zelensky and all that bullshit, no. Absolutely not. No. I don't support Zelensky. But it doesn't matter because ultimately that's not really my issue. But it's all the memery runs so deep. It really does. And it's just you people have made this comparison as well, but it's the same thing with Americans, I imagine, and libs who gave all their support behind Bill Clinton and saying, yeah, you know, well, we need to support Bosnia. We need to support Bosnia 100%. We need to support that against the evil Serbians. It's why the Serbians, still there are people trying to, hold up the Ukrainian flag, and people are like, get that bullshit out of here. Yeah. It actually surprised me greatly the many documentaries that try to debunk the history of the Kievan Rus and say that Ukraine and Russia are so distinct that they should be separate. Yeah. It's easy for more reactionary elements to take advantage of a crisis, which I think is inevitable. Yeah. Once Putin leaves office, yeah, peacefully or not. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do believe it. Like I say, um, you can go ahead and say what you will about Russia, this and that. I'm not here to criticize that. There are people who are much smarter than that. I have a book on my shelf right now that I probably should read one of these days, called Godfather of the Kremlin, talking about these different oligarchs that ruled over, Russia, this and that, in the early post-Soviet era, this and that. Like I say, at this point, like I say, the smarter route is just not to get involved. Yeah, what will Belarus do? I wonder. Well, yeah, I take it all with a grain of salt. Grain of salt. But yeah, Bosniaks are simply Croats, and to a lesser extent Serbs who adopted Islam. Yeah, I'm gonna be very careful. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and agree with that. But basically, I think that we see just a repeat of history where it's just like yeah, Lukashenko. Yeah. Well, I heard. I'll answer your question though. I think that Belarus is gonna do their best to be like, well, go ahead and you can be a launching pad for your invasion, but we're not gonna get involved. It's like saying you can use my house to deal meth in, but just don't let me know, and I don't want to know what's going on. That sort of thing, right? But maybe that's a bad analogy. But you know, you see all this stuff going on. They're not descended from a different tribe the same way the Serbs and Croats are separate from one another. Oh, really? So it's just yeah, it's artificial type stuff to give them an appearance. You know, like I say, and another thing I do want to talk about, I guess I'll wrap it up with this is just as people will talk about the bombing of Srebrenica in the Spanish American War, or talking about the bombings of Belgrade, obviously in the Yugoslav wars. What people are going to be talking about most, I think, is going to be Mariupol. Now, I'm not going to say Mariupol. I'm going to try to be fancy and say Mariupol. But seeing what occurred in Mariupol and seeing videos, it's all the same type of stuff where you'll see folks literally taped to trees and are spanked and all this other stuff. I mean, it's very, very disgusting. Like I say, I mean, and this was done by the Azov Battalion, and by supporters of it. Of course, they'll. Uh, but of course, I mean, people they really don't have an argument against Azov. It's like, well, Azov exists, and yeah, it's bad, but that sort of thing, right? It's like, well, yeah, they're bad, but ultimately they're supporting Ukraine, so And obviously now, of course, Azov seems to be, as far as I know, destroyed. And of course, the jokes about them being trained by, or them dressing up as women to escape being captured by Russians. Uh, like I say, yeah, cosmopolitans are unable to mind their business. Oh, absolutely, that's true. Because the world is a business. The world is their factory. Their world is for their enjoyment, and it should all be the same across the world, or maybe little differences here and there. It should all apply to their view of things. Yeah, Azov gone. As far as I know, they are. As far as I know, they are. You know, but you see, of course, a lot of folks, you know, uh, seeing this, and of course, another element to this as well, of course, is with I really don't want to mention this, but I'll go ahead and do it nonetheless. When fascists announce Azov more than your average Joe right now, you know something's seriously wrong. Oh, absolutely, yeah. You're gonna jinx it. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna jinx it. Okay. Should I mention? You know what? Y'all know about the stuff that's occurred with J.K. Rowling, right? Rowling, however way you pronounce it. Uh, and of course, being supported by Putin in some weird way. I don't know. And of course, like I say, of course, now it goes to like transgenderism really is the ideology of the West. But yeah. So you know what? I mentioned it, and it occurs, and there's some guy named Vosh or something like that that's involved. Yeah, we may have talked about him, but yeah, I don't really want to talk about him anymore. Uh, because I mean he's already given the game away. I'll put it this way with Vosh. He's already admitted that he just wants to make stacks of money, and he's creating a nest egg. So he's given the he's given it away that he's just grifting. He just wants to make money. But yeah, I just don't care about that stupid book. That's okay. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, yeah, American fascists admire Russia for retarded reasons that the Kremlin would denounce. Yeah, weak Nattery. Oh, absolutely, that is true. Like I say, I mean, the thing is, and of course, like I say, this argument has been going on since the beginning. But it's like they say the Wagner Group has more Nazis or this group has more Nazis. It's like I say, Putin really cracked down, I think, on openly like Wignet groups and shit like that. Fairly, like I say, he clamped down hard. And say what you will about whatever the beliefs are of Russia, this and that, but it's like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a crazy bit of shit. That's what I would say. It's a crazy bunch of shit. Seeing what's occurring over there. Starting to run down on Steam. I'm sorry, folks. I know y'all are like, oh my goodness, but yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. All this sort of sacrifice for the greater good, this and that. I mean, imagine if any other country did it that way and said that to the US population. But it's like, it goes to show, of course, that people who are supposed to be, against capitalism, all this sort of thing, it's like, but yeah, then they come out and support NATO and they support all these things. Now, of course, like I say, I'm sure that there are more principled anti fascists out there, of course, and whatnot, but they're still LARPers and they're folks who still believe in anarchism, which is just ridiculous ideology in and of itself, as we know. But for the most part, we've seen, of course, folks who are just like, yeah, we need to support Ukraine. You don't even know Ukraine. You don't even know what goes on in that country. You're just doing it because you just don't like Russia or you don't want to see war. It's just like, as ultra nationalists, but it's different because of their history. It's multi-layered, ethnic. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's really the thing too. Is different layers there. I can't really describe in words really what it is, but yeah, it's a complicated thing. That's really that all that needs to be said is complicated. But yeah, we see this sacrifice for what? For with liberalism as anti-fascism. You know, see, being against authoritarianism or against autocracy. I don't know. And like I said, there's plenty of stuff on the other side of it where people think that Russia and China are going to help create more multipolarity. I don't know. I really don't know. I have a feeling it won't. Like I say, I mean, not in the present day anyway. I think the U.S. is going to hold on as tight as it can, and we see that they're not. Like I say, the U.S. and the regimes are not going to give up that easy. They're not going to. They're going to hold on for dear life. And whether or not it was planned or what sort of conspiracy theory I could push is that now they have gotten people to fully believe in the American system, right? You know, and to say, yeah, this it's patriotic. It's like if you want to create patriotism, start a war, right? And they can say, we're defending this and that. It doesn't even have to occur in your own country now, though. Now that we see Russia and Ukraine, which you would think it's yeah, Russia is a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Oh, absolutely. You know, and it's created that much more strength. So yeah, this system has been strengthened. The gay or the American empire, the capitalist thing. Yeah, it's a mystery wrapped in a real. Yeah, Joe Pesci. Yeah, good actor by the way, Joe Pesci. But it's been strengthened, and I don't say that to be like a big supporter, but we've seen that it's been strengthened. Now, of course, like I say, you can go ahead and say, "Oh, well, what about India getting, buying Russian oil or doing their stuff?" And yeah, that's true. If America collapses, it will be explosive. I feel. Oh, absolutely, it will be. Peripheries of civilizations are the source of problems. Those are the areas that haven't always been under their control. Yeah, that's true. That is true as well. Yeah, these sort of peripheries of what goes on, the edges of the world, sort of thing. But yeah, I guess I'll finish up, and I've already discussed this a little bit, but I feel I'll go ahead and explain it again just to make sure, maybe get a different perspective. But when you see folks who are like, "Well, India is going to get support, is going to get support from Russia and all that sort of thing. They're going to, start dealing in rubles, this and that, and China is going to help, is going to bankroll the country." I'm I'm fickle on that belief, and I feel like, eh, eh, that's my view of it. Just kind of. It's all just sort of like I say, there's a lot of folks who are pushing that. A lot of dissident energies is pushing that. Don't get me wrong, it is. But is it really, can it really manifest itself IRL? I'm gonna be very cautious and be in not sure. I'll put it that way. And there's a cat banging on the door. Okay. Well, that's my view of these things. Like I say, yep, there goes it. Yep. And of course, is the big thank you, Joe. I know. Come on in, Joe. That's the cat. The feds have found me. The fed cat has found me. He doesn't seem concerned though. He just wants to go in the utility room and get warm now that the sun's out. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to grab some sunshine and touch some grass. Well, the grass isn't quite here yet. It's still kind of yellow and dead, but eventually it will come back. Multipolarity really is the most logical step forward. At least I feel. You wish to debunk it. Tell me, what do you think of multipolarity, Uncle Thomas? I I'm gonna put it this way. I'm not necessarily going to debunk multipolarity, but I'm cautious in the sense that yeah, anarchists pretend to be fair. Yeah, but I'll answer your question as good faith as I can. I think multipolarity, I think, is an eventuality. I'll put it that way. Multipolarity is an eventuality, but it's going to take some serious doing, more than just a couple of wars. Um, like I say, you can have all the propaganda in the world talking about the countless wars that the United States started. Absolutely. And you can promote that. And of course, a lot of people believe it. But the thing is, what you have to have is an actual, and I think China has done an excellent job at this, trying to show, hey, we're getting the Belt and Road Initiative done. We're getting, we are getting supplies to various countries, this and that. And of course, like I say, there's an attempt to try to, counter this, but the fact is that the United States has failed at really trying to do this. Like I say, but the real energy is when the U.S. regimes can't get the bare minimum done. When roads continue to have holes in it, this and that. I'm beating around the bush. But basically, I think multipolarity can happen, but I think it's going to take a while before it actually does happen. And it's never going to be the way you want it exactly, but I think it's going to be better than what we have now. I'll put it that way. But yeah, anarchoids pretend to be working class, but in reality go in line with establishment, and waste time concealing evil far right. Yeah, that's true. Korean only could have come about because of them being under both the Russian Empire and the oh yeah Polish Commonwealth, Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth. You could throw in the Turkish as well. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But that's my attitude towards it. Really, I mean, I'm not necessarily against multipolarity, but as an American, regardless of how you may feel, you're not immune to propaganda, as they say. So I mean, it scares America saying multipolarity, even though in a lot of ways it's already occurred. You know, the United States doesn't really make anything. It's all made in China. That's the whole thing. Now, of course, that comes down to whole number of different factors, mostly coming from greed and saying we want to keep as much money as possible, so we're going to send it over to China. But that's like I say, it's more of a complex issue. But yeah, of course, like I say, I try to give a fair response to that. I think that's all I really have to say. If there's anything else y'all want me to talk about, you can. I don't like I say, I spent my wad, I think a while back talking about Vosh. Um, I've tried to limit about talking about Bo the Fifth Column because I feel that's even getting more and more passe. I did it yesterday because I just felt like he's just said so much bullshit that somebody has to call him out for it. That's my attitude anyway. Um, but I'm gonna try to do less of that because I feel that that whole sort of response stuff it's obviously been passe. But I think that I'm gonna do less of that. At least try to. Um, and maybe I'll try to give you some more reading stuff. But yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, yeah. Would you vote for Trump in the next head? You know what? I'll be honest with you. Yes, yes, yes. I would. Even though I said it was silly with dark MAGA, this and that, and what I've said. But yeah, they're just an edgier version of CNN. Nope, no need to pay attention to them. Yeah, I agree. They are. They are. It's really no difference. It's just little tweaks here and there. But yeah, I agree. No different. No different. But yeah, I don't think there's much else. So I really don't. I just want to put that out. I did want to get outside for a little bit anyway and take a walk somewhere while the sun shines out. Yeah. How's it going, Wicked Energy? Sorry, I'm about to wrap this up fairly soon, so apologies, but you can go ahead and rewind the VOD or whatever they want to call it, video on demand. I think they call it that on YouTube. But anyway, I really think that's all I got to say on it. Um, you know, the American idea of other people sacrificing themselves for ultimately their own views is cringe. But yeah, it's unfortunately how Americans are. I appreciate that very much. No more libs, please. 1975. I hope you're doing well. Yep, not a problem at all. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, well, happy birthday to your aunt. I hope she's doing well. Not sure how she feels about politics and whatnot, but yeah, we'll go ahead and do it that way as well. Yeah, farewell. We'll go ahead and just wrap this up. And I hope y'all enjoyed the commentary at the very least. Doesn't mean you have to enjoy, what could occur, but yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. Exactly. God bless everybody. Amen. Goodbye.